Hey everybody, it's Ross Madden, and I'm going to talk to you about the heroin epidemic. Um, this is a subject that's near to my heart. Almost everybody knows someone who's been affected, and this is going to be the heroin epidemic by the numbers. I am a mathematician. I read data, I think, very well. I can express it in a simple way that hopefully you can understand, and my goal is to make you viscerally feel the data. And so we're going to try and get that. I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you. The first thing we need to notice is how many people are dying. When I say epidemic, this is awful. These are the three worst states: California, New York, and Ohio. And you can see by the time we get to the 2010s, we are dealing with about 2,000 deaths per year per state. Let me put that in perspective for you. That is the equivalence of a Las Vegas shooting in Ohio alone every 8 days. And I got that using Ohio's 2015 number of 2,700 opioid overdose deaths. That's absolutely heartbreaking. That's Ohio in 1 year. Just Ohio. Oh my gosh. And there it is on the chart. So New York and California both make sense. Ohio doesn't exactly fit though. So let's take a look at a map and see if there's an import center in Ohio. Let's zoom in. So you see New York has a lot of overdoses, and we've got some in Ohio right there, right towards the northern tip of Ohio at the Great Lakes. Without looking too hard, you can Google heroin epidemic Ohio. They admit Cuyahoga County has the worst problem. They've seen 1,000% increase in the last decade, with over 500 overdose deaths just last year. And we're going to look at a map that shows that Cuyahoga County is essentially Cleveland. Cleveland, Ohio is one of the worst opioid overdose cities in the entire United States. 500 overdose deaths last year. That's one a day. That's almost two a day. And what this means is the Great Lakes are permeable. That we have a port in the north coming from Canada that is wide open for heroin. Other research I was doing on the Turkish coup introduced me to Fethullah Gulen, who is a Turkish intelligence officer who apparently funds a lot of his operations through heroin sales and gave the orders for the Turkish coup, according to Sibel Edmonds, who is an ex-FBI officer and an expert on Turkish affairs.
Now, I worked in the FBI, and I have gone on record for the past 14 years. The very explosive, important files that I got the state secrets privilege order on, I got gag order on, had to do with this special operation, Operation Gladio B, for the files that dated from 1997, late 1997, until February 2002. And I can tell you from firsthand information, from direct information, that FBI was already by 2000, 2001 pursuing Fethullah Gulen in several different divisions, both regular crime division, counterterrorism division, and also white collar crime. So they had several investigations going on that started immediately in late 1999 on Fethullah Gulen. And it was Clinton's White House through Janet Reno, and this was when Janet Reno was in charge of the Department of Justice, that the FBI investigators, and these were my direct bosses, special agents, were ordered to stop all the criminal investigations and funnel all those folders on Fethullah Gulen, thick files of heroin connection, money laundering, and all sorts of embezzlement. That was actually done under the umbrella of the CIA's unit set up for him to take all those files, and they transferred those files to counterintelligence. And for people who don't understand the difference between counterintelligence and counterterrorism and criminal division in the FBI, in counterintelligence investigations, you gather information, but you can never, ever use that information in court to jail someone. You cannot bring as FBI a court case, meaning it's only for intelligence gathering purposes. So Janet Reno, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they pressured the FBI, they gave direct orders saying, everything you have collected on Fethullah Gulen, you are going to seize this operation investigations. You are going to transfer all those files and only pursue it under counterintelligence. Meaning, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, they gave this guy and his criminal activities in the United States immunity, blanket immunity. They actually stepped in and saved this terrorist, this criminal, this heroin operator. And this happened on Bill Clinton's watch. So this is why I'm emphasizing the importance of these emails that we would like to see and analyze.
Sibel Edmonds was the one who originally reported on the coup d'etat being headed by Gulen, but now even Wikipedia admits that the Gulen movement is the one accused by the Turkish government of orchestrating the coup. The failed coup attempt killed 300 people, more than 100,000 people lost their jobs, 40,000 were arrested, 10,000 of them were soldiers, 36,000 teachers were suspended or had their licenses removed. And that's going to be a pattern because when we come to the United States, Fethullah Gulen actually runs a conglomerate of charter schools, 156 charter schools across the United States, and guess where 4 of them are? He actually runs 19 different charter schools in Ohio alone. And that's more than he runs in any other state besides Texas. If you guessed Cleveland, Ohio, you win a prize because he actually owns 4 charter schools in Cleveland, Ohio, the heroin epicenter. And now we've got ourselves a case study because Fethullah Gulen, who had a clear line of supply to Ohio, through the Great Lakes, through Canada, through Turkey, and actually tracked all the way back to Afghanistan. But when you attempt a coup in Turkey, like Fethullah Gulen did in the summer of 2016, you're going to lose your supply chain as a result of the backlash, as a result of the mass arrests. That's what happened to Fethullah Gulen, and so we should see some changes in the Ohio heroin supply. Let's take a closer look. Overdoses have gotten so bad in Cleveland, Ohio that they publish just their county data for overdoses, and here we have heroin in blue, fentanyl only in orange, and a mixture in gray. So when it comes to street opioids, heroin is what is typically sought out. Fentanyl is a cutting material. It's very potent, so potent that it can often lead to overdose and death. Dealers are going to want to cut their heroin with this to save money, but still provide the effect. But straight fentanyl is pretty much bunk, and it's very likely being sold as heroin, not fentanyl. They're just mixing fentanyl with other things to make it look like heroin. This is still Cuyahoga County, Cleveland, Ohio, and you can see in the summer of 2016, look at the orange. There's an absolute explosion in fentanyl-only overdoses. 27, 24, 25 a month. Fethullah Gulen needed a whole bunch of money to fund his coup d'etat in Turkey right as he is losing his supply chain through Turkey. So what does he do? He doesn't stop selling heroin. He still sells heroin, but it's actually just fentanyl. This is absolutely heartbreaking. This is incredible information, guys. When we interrupt a supply chain, you can't just interrupt the heroin supply. You must also look at the fentanyl supply. You must see who is supplying this stuff, because it doesn't just stop with one drug. There are people that are drug dealers that will continue to do their dirty work. And it looks like in 2014 the FBI did do some digging, and they found that they ended up raiding 4 concept schools. And I just want to remind you, Fethullah Gulen's charter schools in Ohio are concept schools. All right, more data. So as we are seeing prescription overdoses decrease, we see a increase and then a last year decrease in heroin. But then take a look at the fentanyl, an absolute explosion in fentanyl overdoses. This is insane, and these other 3 are not really what we're talking about. In the last chart, we are just looking at the heroin is in the blue, and it's pretty flat, and the green here is fentanyl overdoses. And you can see that all of the increase in overdoses over the past couple years has been a result of straight fentanyl use. So when we talk about a raging heroin or opioid epidemic, we are really talking about a fentanyl epidemic. And this is the problem that we need to address. And that's all that I have for you today. I really appreciate you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.